Kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you from Mesa in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling, shake it up Saturday. Yes, well, I got a fried brain. Yes, I got fried. But how was your shake it up Saturday? Did you try a new recipe? Are you trying a new recipe for dinner tonight? If you didn't catch my video this morning, I was talking about my little mini waffle maker and my little mini griddle thing. They're awesome. Between those two and my Instapot, I don't need to turn the gas on and I don't need to put the stove top on, because if I did that, it would get really hot in here, because that gas throws out a lot of heat when it's on. But with the little griddle thing, they're like about 4 inches across, so it's perfect for an egg. So you just crack an egg in there, you can do the egg thing. They've got recipes in the book on how to make your own like McDonald's egg McMuffin thing. I haven't tried that yet. Well, my version of it is beat an egg, throw some seasonings into it, pour it into the griddle, put a little bit of cheese on it, cook it for about 1.5 to 2 minutes, and then take it out, put another egg with those seasonings and stuff in, so you're making like 2 of them. Those are your bread, and then you put cheese, a slice of cheese like provolone, because it's round and it's the same size. Put that on top of the first one while the second one's cooking, and then I may put some cooked bacon on there. What else have I put in there? I've done tuna in there. Put one of those little pouches of tuna with some cheese and stuff, and then made a little tuna mountain. Put that in between the two round pieces of egg. It's awesome. And then on the waffle side, I've made keto-friendly waffles in there. In fact, I used I made my protein pancakes on those things, and that's just where you take 1 scoop of protein powder with 1 egg, mix the 2 together, and throw it in the griddle and let it cook. But I did those truffle things that I showed you this morning, which are, let's see, it was 1/2 cup of grated cheese, and we were using sharp cheddar with 1 egg, mixed it all up. And that was my breakfast this morning. But then for lunch, I was like, oh, wow, those things were really, really good. So I made them again, but this time I put in, and this might sound really weird, but it tasted amazing. When I was whipping up the eggs, before I put the cheese in there, I added pumpkin pie spice. It's going to sound funny. Pumpkin pie spice, turmeric, and thyme. And they were so good. And some people are going to go, with egg and pumpkin pie spice? It was really, really good. It was a completely different flavor, and I like to mix things up a little bit. I come up with weird and wonderful combinations, like tuna fish and cottage cheese mixed together in equal portions with a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, on top of crackers with slices of tomato. Awesome. It may not look the best, but man, it tastes really good. So I like to try different things. The recipe, as far as I'm concerned, is like your foundation. That's your starting point. You can then mix it all. Though with baking, it's a little more of an exact science, so I typically don't muck around with baking. But when it comes to like waffles and that sort of stuff on these little griddle thingies, it's awesome. So yeah, not sure what I'm going to do for dinner tonight. Well, actually, I just had finished having that, so I guess I kind of had a Luna, which is lunch and dinner, in case you're keeping score. But yeah, so I had that. Got onto the Mastermind class today. Oh my gosh, my brain is so fried. We had, they brought in a guy who's like one of the leading tax preparers, CPA guys. Lots of amazing information. I have pages of information written down. I got writer's cramp. But I got pages of information written down, and the questions that our mastermind group were asking him were just sort of like, wow. And this is what happens when you get a group of people together who all have different industries that they belong to, different professions and things, different businesses. There is some crossover with some of the type of businesses that we all have, but some of the questions, even though it was pertaining to their business specifically, it made for great questions, and others were able to learn from that information. Mine was all about, hey, I live full-time in an RV. Where do I file? What do I do? And all of that sort of stuff, in California. I've been in California, I think 6-7 weeks this entire year. That I've actually lived in California this year. Otherwise, I've been out on the road, and he's told me already, he says he's sort of like, move out of state. So, giving great advice and everything else as well. But the information was just awesome, and the questions were, some of them were sort of like, well, that's a good curly question. How do we deal with that one? But my brain is fried. And then I was like reading through my notes and processing all of this information, and all of a sudden I go, did I brush my teeth today? Don't ask me where that thought came from. It was some random thought that popped into my head. Did I brush my teeth today? And so I'm sort of going, kind of feels like I did. But I honestly could not remember whether or not I brushed my teeth this morning. So I went and brushed my teeth. And then I went and ate lunch and found that egg and cheese don't go well together. Actually, no, I did that after oh, jeepers. See, my brain is fried. I can't remember the process of things today. I had my lunch, then I went and brushed my teeth because I figured, well, I'm going to be having lunch anyway, so I don't want to get toothpaste in with the pumpkin pie spice. That's what it was. So I had my lunch, then I went and brushed my teeth. Yes, fried brain. So what cool new things did you try today? Did you attempt today? Did you try any new recipes that you hadn't tried before? What did you do to shake up your Saturday and make it different from all the other Saturdays that you've had? What new things did you do? Did you make up your mind about different things? Did you start making lists on things you'd like to see and do? What did you do to shake up your Saturday? Let us know in the comments below. We are just going to have a very quiet night. Still haven't figured out what movie I was going to watch a movie last night, but couldn't decide what I wanted to watch. I'm kind of in that same boat again. When I've got a fried brain, it's sort of like I need something that I don't need to think about. So that would be a lot of my mysteries and thrillers that will be going by the wayside, because some of those require attention and thinking, because you're going along with them, especially like the whodunits. When you're going along and you're trying to figure out who did it, who was it, who did it. And you're trying to follow a logical thing. So even those that are the twister, have the endings with the little twists in them, those sort of movies, can't watch those tonight because I do not have that attention span for this evening. My ones will probably end up being something like chick flicks, because I don't have to follow those. Same storyline and, same written thing, this is what happens in this bit, this is what happens in this bit, this is what happens here, and it's just the characters may change, the script may be the same, but the theme of the story is basically the same. So I may watch that because it'll just be mindless stuff, which is good because it helps my brain process. And I got good news today. So my favorite author, C.G. Cooper, writes these really cool books about a guy who was a former Marine. His parents were killed on 9/11. And he got to take over his dad's security business. Now that he's broken away from that business, he still owns the business, but he's not the CEO of the business anymore. And they've formed this, what they call the Jefferson Group. And they're kind of like a little black ops team, a private black ops team for the president and stuff. It's really cool, some of the stuff they get up to. But lots of action, all that sort of stuff. Well, he was doing a giveaway for the first 3 books in one volume. And I can't remember how many copies he had to give away, but he just announced in his network, I won one of the copies, a signed copy. So I'm super, super excited. That's going to get sent out and everything. And so I can't wait to get that. And I can't remember which address I gave him, if I gave him the one here in Arizona or if I gave him the one in California. I don't remember which address I gave him, but I need to figure it out so I can figure out like when it's due to arrive, and then I can wait a couple more days. And if it's gone to California, then I will get my mail forwarded here. But if it comes straight here, then I'll have to do an unveiling thing for you guys and show. But it's the first 3 books from the Corp Justice series, which is if you like action, military action, suspense, it's all in these books. Storylines are great. He's got several spin-off series and stuff. He's the guy that wrote the book To Live, about a guy, and it was based, he said, Christmas 2017. He has this thing of nobody alone for the holidays, and he has a team of people, and they actually have a list of people who are going to be spending the holidays by themselves, and he will give them, and the team gets together and they do these calls to these people just to check in with them, talk with them, how you doing, everything going okay. And he did this for Christmas 2017, and then August of 2018 he brought out this book called To Live. It is an incredible, incredible story. The problem I had with it is that it was very, very raw for me, because it talked about a guy who, on the day that he retired, found out that he had cancer. And then a few days after he retired, his wife passed away. And the last thing that she made him promise was that he was to go out there and to live. And so it's his journey through the cancer, through losing his wife, meeting this troubled teenager and taking her on like a granddaughter, and the journey that they go on together, and how he comes to finally realize what the term to live means. And like I said, it came out in August of 2018, so I wasn't quite at a year with Brad passing when it came out. 11 months after Brad passed, this book came out. And he said the story literally wrote itself from the conversations he had had with people on Christmas Day of 2017. It is an incredible, incredible story. I sat there with a box of tissues. I wanted to throw the book across the room, but it was on my Kindle, so I didn't think that would be a good idea, because hard tile floors and Kindles would not mix very well. But I did have to put the book, I read it in a day, but I did have to, and it's not often I sit down and read a book cover to cover. Usually it's sort of like, read this book, go read something else, because shiny object syndrome. That's why I always have like 5 to 6 books on the go at any one time, because I can't sit and read a book. It has to be really well written, and his books are he's one of the few authors that I can actually sit and read his book in one sitting. But with To Live, I had to keep putting it down, going for walks for a walk around the house and stuff to blow off the steam, because I was getting frustrated, I was getting upset. It took me on an emotional roller coaster ride, and at the end of the book I had almost been through an entire box of tissues. I had this pile of tissues around the recliner, but the book was so well written, and it hit so close to home with me, with emotions that this guy was going through, the journey he was on. Everything was just, it was too real. It was very, very real and very, very raw. But he's a fantastic author. If you want to pick up any of his books, he has a kids series, The Adventures of Benjamin. What's the kids series? Can't remember. And he has this other series, the Tim Greer series, which is awesome. Oh my gosh, this is a guy who used to be in Special Forces. He's now a commercial pilot, and he uses the cover of his international flights to right some wrongs. I'm just going to put it that way. Yes, very interesting character is Tom Greer. But he's a very interesting character with a very interesting story and a very interesting background, and how he gets his assignments, and how he gets away with what he gets away with is it's kind of really, it's very, put it this way, it's really well written. And there's some little twists and turns in his books, and I think there's only been 2 of those series. But he also has other series that are spin-offs from the Court Justice, where he actually takes you back in time, and brings forward in a series of books to some of the main characters that you meet in the Court Justice series. Like he has the Daniel Briggs series, and Daniel Briggs is known as Snake Eyes, and he's a sniper. He was a former sniper, and had a very troubled past and everything else. And so you see him in the Court Justice series as this very chilled guy who doesn't say a lot, but he kind of watches over the main character, Cal. Just a very intense character. But then you go back and you read the books from when in fact it was the first book, Adrift, which got me hooked onto the whole series, because I read that book and I was like, oh my gosh, these are good. What other books has this guy written? And I go in there and find this whole series and everything else, and the first 3 or 4 books I think on Kindle were available. Our first 3 books were available for free. Then if you subscribe to his list, to his email list and everything else, you got to pick a book that you wanted for free, and he would send it to you. And so I chose the 4th book in the series. And amazing author, great author, very, very engaging with his readers as well. He's on, he's not on Facebook, he's on is it Mighty Networks it's called? It's a different networking platform, and very engaged reading thing. Yes, very, very engaged with his readers and everything else. And he will even do things like, I'm an open book. What questions do you want to ask me? And so he has a very proud military heritage. He himself is a former Marine. He comes from a line of military. Amazing guy, huge heart, huge servant heart. An incredible author. So if you want to check out some really cool books, go check out C.G. Cooper. And start with the Corp Justice series, because the other ones are all spin-offs. But the Daniel Briggs series brings you up to speed of what his life was like and how he became the character you meet in Corp Justice. And he's just started doing one on the Doctor who's a former CIA interrogator. And that's an interesting character. And he can get information out of just about anybody. Dr. Higgins. So you've got to watch out for Dr. Higgins. But anyway, I've rabbited on long enough. You can tell I'm tired because I'm talking too much. I got to go figure out what I'm going to do for dinner this evening. Might do some tuna. Got a hankering for some fish. Maybe I'll go do some tuna. It's the only fish I have here right now. So packets of tuna. We'll figure that out. But have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Continue your Shake Up Saturday. I'm going to go watch something mindless to help my brain process what it learned today and to get back to a place where it's... Well, tomorrow's R&O day. Yes. Although I do have to do laundry tomorrow. Because, I got to do laundry tomorrow. So we'll do that. But anyway, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Enjoy the rest of your Shake It Up Saturday. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow for Serenity Sunday. Hey, konera.